live there. And okay, we're live now, back for another happy hour chat with some great outside in music artists. We've got Dan Pugach here, Jen Allen, Brian Scarborough, a future upcoming artist, and Roxy Cross is here. And I'm very glad that they could lend some time today to fill us in on what they're up to and what's happening in their world during this interesting time in history. And so I, first of all, would like to go around and let everybody introduce themselves, let the listeners know who you are and where you're calling us from today, and yeah, anything else you might want to mention to introduce yourself. So let's start with Dan.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Dan Pogach. I'm a drummer, composer, originally from Israel, living usually in Brooklyn until this pandemic, and then now we're in West Haven, Connecticut, until this is over. So we managed to escape. And this is my wife, Nicole Zoridis, the legendary vocalist, composer, keyboard player.
Hi.
Nicole.
Joining.
She's already having beer. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And we have a foster dog with us, whose name is Bella, and she's very dangerous.
Nice. How about Jen?
My name is Jen Allen. I am living in Western Connecticut. That's where I always live. That's where I am right now. So I'm happy to be on Next Level label, and just had my album come out in February. I'm excited about that. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. And how about Brian?
My name is Brian Scarborough, and I'm a trombonist, composer, and educator, and I live in Kansas City. And I'm looking forward to releasing my debut album on Next Level, kind of this late summer time frame. So right now, just kind of getting that all, trying to get all the details buttoned up and enjoying the process. So happy to be here. Excellent.
And Roxy Cross.
Hi, I'm Roxy. I am in Harlem. I'm in New York City. It's a little bit interesting here right now because of the pandemic, but yeah, that's where I am. This is my home. And I'm forgetting the last question, but I have an album out on Outside In called Quintet, which is with my band, the Roxy Cross Quintet.
Excellent. And you just had some videos come out, I think, recently, right?
Yes.
So since this is indeed quarantine, a pandemic chat, I wanted to ask, I've been asking everyone, and I'd like to ask you all the same question, is if you had to pick one jazz musician or musician, any musician, to be quarantined with, who would it be? No, not this group. At the times, it ended up being a discussion about who people did not want to be
quarantined with.
I don't think Dan has a choice of who to pick.
I don't think I do either.
That's true.
Or you, Jen. Wow.
Yeah.
So is the question more like a
was
celebrity?
More like a jazz, like a jazz, some people said like Bill Evans, or that they really wouldn't want to be stuck with Miles Davis.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I would need protective gear for that one.
So more or less, I guess the question was just like, who is somebody that inspires you that you feel like you'd want to collaborate with if you had to be stuck with them for a long time, I suppose, is really the essence of the question.
Thanks for clarifying.
You're asking couples that are already collaborating.
I didn't even really think about that before I asked.
Yeah, it's a funny question to us because we've been doing this, already stuck together for 10 years. Jen and Chris, Roxy and Lucas. I don't know what Brian's situation is.
But you guys just did like a house concert, right? Nicole and Dan, you just did some kind of live stream a couple days ago.
Yeah, she did I tried to join, but I was kind of lazy by the time I got to miking the snare, and it didn't sound good, so I just let her sing. But yeah, she did a you know.
And it was really successful because we had Dan and our friend, another Dan, helped us rig the entire situation so that it was good sound. So we went with the microphone through the interface, through a USB into the Mac. And then the Mac, you have to change the setting to read the USB, which is reading the interface, which was reading my microphone and keyboard and reading the reverb box. But I don't know, right? Yeah, that was right.
Yeah.
And
Everyone, they have a microphone.
no, but what I'm saying is that a lot of the live concerts that we've seen are just phones. And this was like, it was exciting to do that. So if I was to be quarantined with a jazz musician, I'm glad it's Dan.
Well, did Dan set all of that up? All of the.
He did.
Oh, who knew Dan was so tech savvy?
I'm not.
I didn't know that.
I tried and it didn't work. So I asked someone who knows.
Other Dan.
Other Dan. Oh, right.
Engineer.
Have any of the rest of you guys done any live stream concerts yet? I have not.
I'm
No.
doing Friday.
You're doing one on Friday this week?
My grad school, like somebody from my grad school is setting up stuff that is just like musicians from the school doing concerts. So he did one last weekend and I'm doing something this weekend.
Oh, nice. Where is that going to be streamed?
Yeah, through Facebook. Yeah, and it'll just be solo piano.
Oh, nice. That'll be cool. So Dan and Nicole, now that you've done one, do you have any tips or suggestions for what to do or what not to do, or platforms to use or not to use?
I know there are different live stream websites and services that offer it, and I think they cost money. We just did live on Facebook. Make sure you have the right browser. I mean, we used Google Chrome because the other one, the regular one, what's it called?
Safari.
Safari wasn't working. And also hit me up if you have questions. I mean, all I know is that it reads only USB devices, the Facebook Live thing. So when you go and you say, okay, like read from this camera, okay, and then read from which microphone, you can do either the microphone that's on the computer or something else. There'll be like a drop menu, whatever you call, and then it won't find your interface if it's not a USB interface.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we didn't, I think that not inundating people with live streams all the time from just you is important. So I planned this about a week and a half in advance. And it was kind of like the only thing that I was hinting at that I was doing. Because honestly, for the rest of the time dealing with the pandemic, mostly I was just kind of like laying around and going, what is happening?
Right.
Yeah.
Not feeling particularly good mentally. So setting a goal and putting something in the books was very helpful for us because we felt like we had something to look forward to. And then it was really nice to do the live stream and see people, so you can see that people are typing to you. And I didn't have required tickets. I said, you can buy a ticket. And it ended up being successful for many reasons because we got to connect with people, you get to see, and it was just really great.
Nice. We'll have to you'll have to let it, make sure we know so we can blast it out to our people as well if anyone is going to do another. So Jen, send me the details of yours coming up. But Brian, you didn't get a chance to answer the real essence of this question. Who do you want to be quarantined?
Yeah, I think for me it would be Wayne Shorter. Speak No Evil changed me, and it's just one of those things, all of the music compositionally is so interesting and improvisationally, and then somebody who's still pushing to do new things. And I mean, I just think there would be musically, it would be awesome, but I think just as a person, I think you would learn a lot just being around someone like that. So that would be my answer for that. But in regards to like a live stream concert, it's not something I at the moment have planned, but I have been messing around with kind of multi-tracking myself. Doing some bass lines and things and then improvising over that a little bit. And some of that's just to for me to prevent boredom. But I think if I get a little bit better at that, maybe I'll do a couple of those and put those out somewhere.
So you just did them for yourself. You haven't posted them online yet?
No, nothing yet. It's just been a practice tool. Again, I probably like several of you, I'm doing all my teaching online for my community college, and then my other private students right now are all online through Zoom as well. So I have this rig all set up, and I was like, oh, I can just go hit the red button and mess around with that a little bit. So that's been nice too. I think just having some different things to tap into, while we're all staying at home, whether it's jazz or, trombone quartets or any of that, just something different. I think that's one of the things I like about freelancing is the variety. And now every day is largely the same, office work, practice, repeat. So anything to kind of provide a little bit of variety will be very good for me musically and mentally. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. So some of you guys have touched on this already, but so what are you all working on during this time? We got a little bit extra time to think about life, think about musical projects. What is anybody kind of tackling any big projects during this time?
Well, I guess I haven't talked much. I'll jump in here. I want to echo what Nicole said. And even before I jumped on this call, I said to Lucas, like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm not doing anything. And he's like, you're doing so much. So I think one thing that this situation has forced everybody probably to think about more is, how do we spend our time and how much time are we spending on work? And, for me, I can see that this is, from the beginning, it was going to take longer than people were saying. And so kind of approaching it like we're in this for the long haul. We don't know how long this will last. It could be months and months. And at least in terms of concerts being canceled, maybe not like quarantine, but, not doing the work that we're used to doing, not being able to do gigs or see students in person and stuff like that. So the first 2 weeks I was pretty depressed. I'm in my third week now. And I was practicing more than normal, I would say, just getting back to the instrument, and kind of, it almost felt like I was 10 years younger or something, just sort of like, oh, I don't have something specific to practice for now. Like, I don't have to like learn this music or that music, and getting back to some etudes and long tones and overtones and just stuff that I still do regularly, but it feels less time constrictive. And I think I know myself by now that I'm not going to be as productive until I feel almost bored and like really well rested and nourished. And so I'm just trying to be really patient with that. And it's hard because every day I wake up and I'm like, man, this is what I've been wishing for years. The past 2 years have been so busy. And I've been like, if only I had more time, I could practice and exercise and book myself and write emails and run Wejo and do all this stuff. But now I have endless time. It's what I thought I wanted. And I'm like, oh, I'm not getting any more done than I was before, because it's hard. It's hard to be motivated. It's hard to feel positive. It's hard to want to book gigs when all your gigs have been canceled. So trying to really find that drive of like, why do I do this? What makes me want to get working on stuff? I'm still finding that. And I think even just like trying to listen to different types of music, because I wasn't really as inspired to listen to jazz at first, and finding stuff that it's been nice, people are posting all sorts of stuff more than normal. So that is a way to find different types of inspiration. There was one of those things going around, like, the transcription challenge, and Walter Smith tagged me, and it was a Stanley Turrentine on Shirley Scott recording. And I was like, wow, I forgot that Stanley Turrentine was one of my first like favorite, most impactful influences, like one of the first tenor players I ever listened to. And I totally forgot and haven't listened to him in so long. And so just kind of reconnecting with that sort of first inspiration stuff is kind of where I'm at now. But my goal is that I work towards the stuff that I really was working towards before this all happened. So now that we know we have at least another month of this type of thing happening, kind of trying to get back into a regular schedule and hopefully start doing some more composing for my next recording sometime soon. But I don't know if I'm mentally there yet.
Yeah, for real. Who else wants to jump in?
Yeah, I got a couple things that I'm working on. Like I said, I do have my record that will be coming out. I think we're looking at an August release, so that's been exciting. Just those final details. But then I have a couple other projects too. I have a jazz etude project that I started at the end of last year, where I'm trying to demonstrate the use and like application of specific improvisational and like practice tools, like concepts and approaches. Um, and so that's something I'm doing and releasing on my website on the first and third Monday of each month. And then each concept, there's two sheets. One's the concept and notes sheet that kind of outlines this is the approach, this is how you can manipulate it, this is kind of the basic level, and then how you can, you know, alter it as you like. And then an etude that specifically uses that. So that's been something I've been planning out the next chunk of, and I'm kind of just writing those. And yeah, so that's something that I'm pretty excited about. And then I do have aspirations of doing some more composing. Again, I've been living in this record world for the last couple months, and I'm still very excited about it, but I'm definitely ready to write some new music and get some new things happening. But I think it's just trying to stay motivated and set sort of deadlines for myself, which is going to be helpful, just to keep plugging away. So
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Jen, anything going on in your world?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Roxy. Like, it's been a little hard to get motivated when there's so many other things kind of mentally spinning around in my head. But yeah, the one good thing that I've kind of done in this time is that just connecting with more people. It's nice because, again, like Roxy said, like everybody's always like, I want more time, and you know, if I only had time, or I'm so busy, and now all of a sudden we're not. It's nice to just connect with people. So I've had about 4 different people that we've been sending videos back and forth. So even if it doesn't come out in like Facebook land or whatever right now, they're projects there or things that we're talking about and actually have time to just have fun with. And you know, that's kind of been an exciting thing for me. Yeah, I'm just trying to hold on to that stuff right now and sit down. I've been doing a lot of singer-songwriter kind of music. I don't know. That's what's coming out right now. So I'm just accepting whatever's there.
Beautiful. Dan, Nicole, anything you want to share? Dan had a single. You guys had a single come out last week, right?
Yeah, we dropped a single of the Nonette featuring Nicole, and we have a couple of videos that are being edited right now through Outside In with the Nonette and Nicole that are going to come out soon. Other than that, Nicole's releasing a record in
June.
Want to talk about that?
No. And yeah, I'm releasing a record in June. That's exciting. In terms of spending our time, we never got to see each other. So just to echo everybody's sentiment, I'd say the last 2 years, the time that we've spent together has been minimally almost zero. So it's been really nice doing that, and, you know, calling my sister every day, and you know, calling friends, just like Jen said. So that's been really important for me. And then with my personal goals are to relax, not beat myself up for being not particularly productive, to try and do at least one concert every week or so, because performing live brings me a lot of joy. So I should do that. You know, like if I have the opportunity to do it, I can still do it. It just isn't in front of actual human beings breathing on me. And then
They're breathing. They're just not right in front of you.
yeah, they're breathing. They're just not on me. Yeah, and like Roxy said, I just kind of know that this is going to go for a minute. And I'm just doing a one day at a time approach. I want to learn how to do a lot of things eventually. Like I brought all my charts and my arrangements, and I'd like to make them better. I'd like to learn how to do things on the computer myself, because that's just something I never prioritized, because who cares? You know, if you're performing 250 days out of the year live, then, you know, working a computer and all that stuff just wasn't on my priority list. And now it is. And because that's the way the industry is pushing us, because we don't have a choice. So that's my goal. Anything else? Petting lots of dogs, petting all the dogs.
Oh, nice. Do you have
Yeah,
them
I'm
all
kind of
full?
getting anxious, kind of like the opposite from what Roxy said, because yeah, I know it's gonna take a couple of months until we're back to like kind of like normal routine, but my anxiety is like, what did I do during that time that I had completely off, you know, and no excuses to not write, arrange, practice, come out with 10 new albums and per month. So to work around that, I'm just trying to like take a week or two off completely, not think about anything, and kind of reintroduce music and the drums and arranging and all that stuff to me as like in a positive way, and not in like a pressure type of way, because I'm used to working towards deadlines, and now that there's none, it's actually harder for me to get up and set an alarm and be like, okay, I'm going to write an intro, I'm going to write this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to practice, I don't know. So right now I'm just laying low and trying to be healthy, and you know, getting that together, you know, spending time with Nicole, and like she said, calling my family and checking up on friends is really good for the soul, because there's not enough of that, you know. I rarely call people just to say hello and see what's up, and you guys also are on my list, you know, like I'm glad we're connecting now. And so yeah, I would like to compose. I had a lot of ideas and a lot of projects that are like on my erase board, my, you know, but pulling the rug underneath with all this and canceling shows, and that's gonna make it harder for me to come up with stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I appreciate you guys being honest about it, because I feel like everybody is not everybody, but I feel like many people are just kind of posturing that how productive they're being and all this kind of thing, and it just makes you feel. The way that I respond to it is like, I know that you aren't used to actually being motivated, and you're going to fall off this wagon in like a week. And I'm like, I really want that person to be successful and not feel negatively. And so to have this conversation where it's like, it's okay to not have to be like a million miles an hour all the time. Cause yeah, like who knows how long it's going to be and all of that. But anyway, I appreciate everyone being their honesty about that, just cause sometimes I think we've moved from promote our shows and buy my records to like, look how productive I can be and how many things I can transcribe and how many challenges I can do.
I think it's also, you know, the creative process is so, you know, it's a balance. Like taking a week off, like Dan was saying, sometimes feeds that stuff, you know, like having downtime. And I don't think that a lot of artists talk about that, especially when we're in our busy times. It's like, it like what you said, it's like posturing. It's like, I'm so busy and I've got all the stuff, but you know what, everybody needs downtime at some point, and especially in a pandemic when it's unprecedented and like we're all kind of floored by it, and there's mass devastation, you know, like there's a lot of important things to be taking in at this time, and I think it's really needed, at least for me.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely. I agree with everything that's been said, and like Nicole was saying, like, you know, Lucas and I've also never see each other. And so it's like, oh, now we're both home. Like, wow, we could actually like hang out. Like, oh, date night every night. Okay. Usually it's like once every 4 months or something that we see each other. So I think that, you know, when all of this first started, I would see people posting a bunch of stuff and live streaming and just kind of like, wow, how are they so productive? And we should be like recording duo concerts and like doing all this stuff, like, oh my gosh, you know. And I really wasn't able to get motivated. And I think one thing that I've been doing is continuing my teaching at Juilliard through Zoom. And I felt, just to echo what's been said, that just touching in with the students in that way, having some sort of regularity and community was so important. And just seeing their faces and, you know, having them joke around in the way that they usually do was very, you know, healthy for me to be witnessing. And also by kind of reinforcing some of the stuff we've all been saying to them, I was able to take that for myself, which is like, okay, forgive yourself. You know, you guys don't need to be doing anything in particular. You know, do what you need to do to take care of yourself in this time. And if that means like finding musical inspiration, that's great. If that means taking a break, that's okay. As long as you feel like you're moving in the right direction mentally and musically, eventually emotionally. But Jen, I love what you said, because that's something that I've been finding for myself in the past couple of years, which is like, I can't do the things I really want to do long term if in the short term I'm just constantly like filling my time with busy work, because the creativity starts to really fall off. And although I might have a lot of like stuff to show for it in terms of, oh, I'm so busy, or oh, like I've been on the computer for this many hours, like in terms of fulfilling that desire to create music and reach people, that is really at the heart of this type of career, that's the stuff that ultimately I think suffers from all of that. And anyway, all of that to say, I think one of the biggest questions I kind of mentioned before, but of all of this for me coming out is like, how much time can you spend on something before it becomes like counterproductive? And the more I fill my days and my weeks and my years, am I, by becoming more successful, am I happier or am I just more busy? Like, am I, and what is success? And if I never see my husband or I don't have time to compose, is that success? You know, is that where I want to be working towards? So it's obviously it's forced all of us to stop and ask these questions, but that's, I hear a lot of things from all four of you so far that I just wanted to kind of wrap back around there with, so. Yeah.
I'm glad we're having the conversation. It's been interesting to see how all these have gone in different directions. So I appreciate you all sharing.
Yeah, Nick,
Yeah.
What are you up to?
do you have roommates? What's happening?
Do I have what?
Roommates? Are you alone?
No, Sarah's here, and my dog is in the other room. I had to keep him in the other room, or else he'll be, jumping on my leg. But a lot of my stuff is I'm still teaching, so pretty busy with all of that still with UNT. So all of our stuff's on Zoom, like Roxy was saying. So they kind of, there's a little bit of extra time now, but a lot of it is kind of the same as week to week as it was before. But for me, I have like a large pile of stuff that I've just been waiting. It's like when I have an extra hour, I can get that finished. And so I've been going through that list and getting things out. But I'm getting into the point of just kind of like what, kind of like Roxy said, am I busy? Am I just happy being busy, or am I actually moving towards something where I'm happy about what I'm doing? Because I tend to fill up every moment of my life with something rather than without having any time to step back and be like, is this the thing or is that the thing that really I don't know. So now I'm trying to maybe slow down. The first 2 weeks of this have been kind of speed up. And now I feel like I need to slow down for a second, maybe. And so this conversation is actually being very encouraging to that, slowing down a little bit and kind of figuring out what's the direction.
I really
But,
came on here
yeah.
to convince Nick to slow down.
Yeah.
Stop
We
it.
wanted to tell
Stop
everyone
it.
it's okay to be slow.
But yeah, I don't know, just this and that. Put out a book of etudes today. That was it. That was one of those things that was like 99% done, and I just had to like click go and like actually get it out that I had to do. But
Low key released a book. It's
it's not about me. This isn't about me.
fine. It's awesome.
So I'm curious, has anybody found any new inspiration from anything the last couple of weeks in terms of maybe whether it's a I don't know, a movie or some recording or a book or a podcast or something that they recently discovered during this time?
You take notes.
My wife and I have been rewatching the original Indiana Jones trilogy,
Ooh.
and it's amazing. I even rewatched one today just because, again, we know the story and the music, but there's so much of that incidental music in those movies that's so good, and it's the stuff that at least I don't remember. So that's been something I've thought has been really interesting, is just kind of diving into those worlds. And I feel like that's when I've been the most productive in the past anyways, when I've been reading a good book that takes me to another place and I can live there. So I think that's something that I'm going to try to be conscious of with some of this time, is to explore some of those worlds. I've got a new book that I haven't opened, and I just some of those things that take me to a place that can inspire me. But recently, yes, it has been John Williams music, and that trend is probably going to continue if I know myself. So
I like that. I like that.
I've read a couple books that I've just been loving. I've been reading When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. I don't know how to say her name. And then a couple of books by Thich Nhat Hanh. So I'm kind of digging inside. I'm going inside, not the Indiana Jones outside things, outside inspiration. But it's still been really great. I love those books.
I started doing yoga every day. I downloaded an app called Down Dog, which is free right now because of COVID. And it has an algorithm that creates a new sequence every time you go on. And you can adjust every little variable, like by the 5-minute increments and level and how much they describe the poses. And I've done some meditation in the past, but practicing it every day has been pretty meditative for me, and just kind of recentering and having a way to be a little bit active, and all of that has been important for me. Oh, my cat's that's Lulu.
Disappeared.
She's doing the classic cat pose. But yeah, I haven't been able to open a book yet, but I've been watching a lot of stuff. We watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy. We started watching Sopranos from the beginning. We watched Space Jam. Blade Runner, all over the place. Princess and the Frog.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
just
amazing.
finding Tiger King, blew through that for sure. Trying to find things that I know it's very
It's polarizing at the moment.
it's polarizing. I found it to be the first thing that took my brain off of coronavirus for an extended period of time. It's the first thing that actually I completely forgot about it. So for that reason, I think I recommend it. But I understand people's problems with it. I think that in a way it kind of reflects the narcissism and sickness in our government right now. So the fact that that's causing some of coronavirus to be in a worse situation in America, you might have a hard time watching it. But I mean, I think I would say it's very distracting and engaging and crazy, and sheds light on something I had no idea existed. Yeah.
Amazing.
I haven't done anything. I've been avoiding
Everything.
I've been wanting to write emails to people I met at the CMA conference in January, and I've been like kind of like I'll wait for the perfect time where I'm at the computer and I have everything, and I'm like, dear person, you know, and I haven't done it because I was busy working and then boom,
A lot of big jobs, right?
A lot of big jobs.
We did a lot of big jobs actually. We were like the last ones to still work until
I saw that.
We were playing weddings in like New Jersey for the Orthodox Jewish community until it was like
So I roped him home
until
and I dragged him home
until police came and shut the wedding down.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we were kind of like hanging out in Brooklyn trying to figure out what to do.
The mouse that lives in our apartment, mice were just like inundated in the apartment, so that's why we fled.
And then we got the hint that it's actually not here yet. That it's like we're actually following Italy. We're gonna be the next Italy, but worse. And so when we realized that a couple of days ago, we decided to skip town. And so that took a couple of days because we drove all our crap, drove back, drove the drums and the recording gear and the keyboards and the dog and all that stuff again, and settled. This was supposed to be like a getaway place that she and her mom got, and then now it's like we're like living here. So we've been busy figuring that out. Like, do we have salt? Do we need, you know, like, do we have towels like from scratch? So
right.
It's been a nice distraction, honestly. Like, I love playing house. I love cleaning. It's weird. I like to do things like that. And
yeah, we've been cooking every night and figuring.
I never cooked. I don't cook.
Recipes. We always eat out in Brooklyn, so
I like make fun of myself for the last 20 years, just being like, I can't cook. I can boil water, maybe. Now I'm like, oh, I made mahi. Now I'm making this over here, and I'm doing this. It's like very fancy dishes. Like, I'm waiting for this to be over so I can pop the salmon with my rub on it in the oven. Like, who am I? Apparently, I'm like Giada that cooking. It's crazy.
No, but it's
That's
good.
so funny.
We're practicing how to be adults.
We're adulting.
We're adulting.
We're doing our own.
We got a special guest coming on.
Hey!
The real.
I don't know what you guys
Nahmed.
have been up to, but I just finished my 3rd symphony in quarantine. No, I got
He can't even hear you guys.
And he's out.
He's posturing. He's posturing.
I saw. No, he was watching earlier, so he probably saw that.
Oh, that's
every single one of you.
Well, everyone else, I would be like, you're posturing, but Lucas, I know that
He might have actually done that.
he could actually like do it while practicing his, so.
That's funny.
But I haven't
Playing
even set up the drums yet, so or touched Sibelius or any of that. I'm kind of waiting to,
Yeah.
I will say that a lot of the things that I've avoided watching because I've been so busy, because I'm very like empathetic. I'm an empath. I'm like very cathartic, and things can really upset me and really throw me down the rabbit hole. Like, I think we're going to start watching a lot of things that we avoided because they were going to be too triggering or too thought-provoking, and they were going to distract us from our busyness. So like yesterday we watched the entire When They See Us, and the entire time I was just like weeping, reading about it afterwards, couldn't sleep, had to take tons of melatonin to sleep. And I think what we're going to end up doing is going into all those documentaries that we've been avoiding, because maybe it's the worst advice ever, but for me, I can't watch a documentary like that when I have to work, because then I can't function. But now I have plenty of time, so I think like taking the things that are good for society and things that open your eyes, I'm going to be delving into now, and maybe some self-help books.
Nice. I don't want to take up too much of everyone's time, but I'd love to go around just one last time and let everyone kind of direct folks to where the best place to support you and your art is during this time, whether it's on a live stream or I don't know, Instagram or wherever you want to send people. So let's go around just one more time. I'm going to start with Brian.
Yeah, so you can find my website, brianscarboroughmusic.com, and I have a recently launched musician page on Facebook, which I think is also Brian Scarborough Music. So those two places, I think you'd probably find anything that I'm doing and putting out. So.
Great. Well, thanks for being here. Jen?
Yeah.
You can find me on jenallenmusic.com or on Instagram at jenallenmusic. Or I have a bunch of new stuff up at YouTube. I've been digging through my computer. That's one thing that I have been doing, finding old stuff, posting it on there. So I guess those are 3 places you can find me.
Awesome. Great. Nicole and or Dan?
You can wire us money.
Okay.
We don't take cash right now because we're scared. danpugach.com. I don't even know if there's anything there right now. I mean, we don't. There's shows, but we don't know anything, right now about it.
We got Instagram, Dan Pugach, Pugach. Pugach.
Yeah, we have Instagram and the website and YouTube and all that. And she has NicoleZmusic.com.
Nicole Z Music, no space, on Instagram, Facebook, NicoleZmusic.com.
Great.
We have really cool videos coming. I mean, I haven't seen the actual videos, but the audio turned out really nice at that pinch session.
Yeah, it did. That's really
And
great.
Nick, you're the best.
Sorry to delay Roxy's answer, but I gotta say the pinch was really a good thing going on, because it forced me to put out content with no warning and just like, okay, we're doing it. It's a thing and it's out, and you're putting out content. That's all it is. Because if it was up to me, I would keep still waiting 2 more years or 3 until I come up with that perfect next album. So yeah, that's it.
Coming soon. I'll get it together soon. Give me a minute here. And Roxy?
Yeah, you can find me on roxycross.com or on Instagram. And I've got, albums and sheet music on my website. And there's lots of videos from, the last album, like Nick was talking about, each track has an accompanying video. And I think they're all out now. Or do we have one more? They're all out. One more. Anyway.
I think they're all out.
Okay, we just finished releasing all the videos, which are on the Outside In YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. And then I'm going to be recording some little intros talking about each of the songs, the compositions. So I'll be re-releasing each track with that new intro on my own YouTube channel coming up soon.
Great. Well, thank you guys all so much. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to visit and chat, and we'll stay in touch and stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you around next time.
Yes, thank you so much.
Good to meet you,
Right.
Brian.
Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet
was
you
very
guys.
enjoyable.
Good to see you guys. Bye.
Thanks again. See ya.
Go
See ya.
cook a